Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue number 42 from Mirage Studios. This is Juliet's Revenge. This was by Rick McCollum and Bill Anderson, and it came out December 1991. So yeah, this issue we start off with Casey Jones being tied up. He's being held hostage somewhere, and he's yelling, cursing. And then we have one of our main antagonists. This is Charlie Forte. And Charlie Forte is basically obsessed with cryptozoology. He's a cryptologist. He loves like cryptozoology, and basically everyone always makes fun of him, thinks that he's full of crap and stuff like that. And he wants to prove that cryptoids actually exist. And he's heard information about these walking, talking turtles. So he's questioning Casey about it. He also starts questioning April about it as well, because she's also held hostage. And he's basically pumping drugs into the two of them to get them to talk. And eventually they start talking. He also gets photographs of the turtles. He starts discovering all about the turtles, about the TCRI, Alien, the Foot Clan, the Triceratons, Leatherhead, Complete Carnage, all of them. And he's talking to this one guy, and he's basically saying, I need you to go and capture them. And the guy turns out to be Edgar Allan Poe. So I was like, all right, how the hell is Edgar Allan Poe in here? Uh, he died like a long ass time ago, but that gets explained later on. So then we have the turtles, and they're at the kitchen in the farmhouse. And they're wondering, what the hell's taking Casey and April so long to get food? They should have been back hours ago. They get kind of fed up with waiting, and they decide, let's go check out and see if anything happened to them. And as they're walking outside, they see Casey's mask. And then eventually they also discover Casey's car, which has crashed. All of his weapons are littered everywhere. They discover April's purse, and the cash is still in there. So they realize that, okay, these two weren't robbed. They were taken by some kind of enemy. Maybe it's an enemy that wants us. Let's go try and see if we can figure out where they're at. And so they all split up and go their separate ways. And Raphael is walking through the fields when this cowboy dude who looks to be on fire kind of shows up behind him. And he basically aims. He basically aims at Raphael with like finger guns. And he just goes bang, and then Raphael actually gets shot, and he drops. And just before he loses unconsciousness, he says that his name is Howard. So I'm wondering if this is Robert E. Howard. And then later on, we see Michelangelo. Michelangelo is walking through the forest, and he gets attacked by Bruce Lee, of all people. So yeah, Bruce Lee kicks the crap out of him, and he goes unconscious. And then we see Donatello walking through the cornfields. And Donatello gets approached by Mae West, who is a old-time actress. And she basically stares into his eyes and hypnotizes him, and then she kisses him, at which point he falls unconscious. Now all that's left is Leo. So Leo's walking through the road when Leonardo da Vinci shows up behind him. And he's like, who the hell are you? And before Leo can do anything, Leonardo da Vinci paints this symbol on Leonardo's chest, and Leonardo passes out. So then we're introduced to our main antagonist, Juliet. Juliet is in this weird, creepy looking garden with like faces and monsters and a bunch of crazy shrooms and stuff. And it's on top of this giant skyscraper. And she's basically being happy that all the turtles are being captured. Now all that's left is Splinter. And we see Splinter sitting in a tree. And Edgar Allan Poe shows up. And Edgar Allan Poe basically says that, I regret imposing myself upon so obvious a spiritual master. I'm descending into the maelstrom. I wish I had the power of my friend Lovecraft. I'm assuming he's talking about H.P. Lovecraft, which is kind of weird because Edgar Allan Poe died way before Lovecraft did. But apparently Lovecraft was awakened or whatever to capture the turtles, and he refused. So he got casted into the city of Ralia. I can never pronounce that word for the life of me. But basically, it's the city where Cthulhu lays dreaming. The city where dead Cthulhu lays dreaming. Splinter is basically like, I know you don't want to do this, but I think something of great importance is going to happen, so I'll go with you willingly. And Edgar Allan Poe is like, thank you. April and Casey get freed and they get dumped off somewhere in the woods. And Casey sees footprints of the turtles and his mask, and he realizes, okay, something's going on with my buddies. I got to go find them. And that's when we get Splinter and the turtles waking up, and Charlie is basically questioning them. He wants to learn more about them. He wants basically to interrogate them, interview them, so he can get all this evidence on them. But Juliet shows up, and she basically says that she doesn't want to do that. Like she wants to kill these turtles. She wants to get revenge. And she's been waiting for hundreds of years to get this revenge. And then it turns out that her name is Savantini Juliet. And it's like, wait a second, Savantini, who the hell is that? Oh, right, Savantini Romero. So the demon that the turtles teamed up with Cerebus to take on. And then later on, they went back into the past, Rennet, and they fought him upon the giant bone structure. That dude. Well, it turns out this is his wife, and his wife wants to get revenge. And at this point, Edgar Allan Poe is like, he's like, no, I can't take this anymore. I won't allow you to kill these warriors. And so he goes to attack her when she basically sets him ablaze, and he dies again. So yeah, he burns to death. The woman is basically just breaking down, and she's just like, yelling at the turtles about how they've stolen everything from him. How she basically had a lover, but then her lover died because she's immortal. And how she eventually found Salvantini, another immortal. And now she can spend her whole life with someone and not ever be alone. But because the turtles killed him, now she's going to have to spend the rest of her life alone. Like, even if she finds someone else, they will eventually die. So she can never, truly be with somebody because she will live forever. As she's basically doing, she starts like slicing all of them in the face so she can use blood to basically do this ritual. And as she's doing this, Casey comes across the building that they're hiding out in, and he climbs up into like the rafters, and he's waiting for his opportunity to strike. Charlie at this point gets upset because he doesn't want the turtles to die. He wants them to be alive so he can interrogate them and interview them and basically go public with them. And he'll be rich and famous. And she basically uses him as a patsy. She's like she uses him as the vessel. Because what she's going to do is she's going to use the turtle blood, do this ritual to call upon her husband, put her husband's soul or whatever into Charlie, and then he'll basically be like the vessel. Like, her husband will come out through Charlie, and then afterwards they can kill the turtles together and live happily ever after. But as she's in the middle of this ritual, Casey hacks the ropes that are that the turtles and Splinter are hanging from, and now that they're broken free, they start attacking. And that's when Juliet calls all these demons to show up. Well, they're not actually demons. It's described that they're loathsome, angry, and lethal creatures. Let's call them goblins. So I guess these goblins, they're basically demons, but they're called goblins here. So the goblins start attacking the turtles, and I mean, we get this like cool panel. Leonardo is basically on top of a pile of just dead goblins, and he's continuing the fight. And the more he kills, the bigger the pile gets. And all the other turtles are basically battling these creatures. Just as Juliet is about to finish her ritual, there's this huge beam of light, and this woman shows up, and she says, stop. She sends all the demons away. She causes like this huge explosion, and it blows up all the goblins. It blows up Juliet. The turtles, Splinter, April, and Casey are just able to sneak out of the building just before it blows up. And then the woman introduces herself, and turns out this is Rennet. And Rennet is now more mature. This is this is the Rennet from thousands of years into the future. So she's a lot more mature. She's now taking over the position that Lord Simultaneous has. She's now the mistress of time. And she heals the group using her powers, and then she leaves. And then it's just the turtles are kind of like wondering about what's going on. And they're like, all this was about revenge. And Splinter's like, no, not just revenge. It was also about loneliness, love, and lust. And all the turtles and Casey stare at April when he says lust. And then the Splinter's like, no, 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 not that kind of lust. The lust for power. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, all right, let's go home. And the turtle's like, yeah, I'm still pretty hungry. And then we cut to like 2 nights later where this couple is making out in the woods when all of a sudden the deformed, monstrous body of Charlie shows up. And he scares the crap out of them. And then he just starts walking through the woods. And basically another report of Bigfoot goes on file. So it turns out that Charlie in the end becomes a cryptoid himself. The very cryptoid that he studied his entire life. Now he's one of them. And that's how it ends. So yeah, I thought this was an okay issue. It wasn't too bad. It was a lot better than the previous one. A lot better than the Turtle Dreams episode. So yeah, I mean, it was interesting that they kind of brought back the whole Savanti and just Remnant and all that stuff. It was a decent issue, I would say. I would give it maybe like a C+. It wasn't one of my favorites or anything like that, but it was all right. Not terrible, not great. Just it was okay. Artwork wasn't too bad actually. One of the better guest stuff, I would say. But yeah, there you go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue number 42. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. What do you guys think? I would like to hear your thoughts. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this run. Hope to see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Later. So what did you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe. Hit that bell for a notification. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far. And I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see. And I hope to see you guys next time. Later.